Less than 2 months until Election Day, we are learning more about the concerns you want lawmakers to address. A new Siena College poll says the cost of living is the top issue for New Yorkers, and more than half of you believe the quality of life is heading in the wrong direction. This comes as cost of living concerns linger in the national spotlight, with thousands of auto workers on strike. None of the Western New York plants have joined the strike yet, but local workers put on a practice picket today. The UAW union says it wants a 36% raise over the next 4 years. If a deal is not reached by noon on Friday, the union says more workers could go on strike. So I spent today talking with numerous people about these cost of living and quality concerns, and I went to the practice picket to learn more about what they're asking for. Workers from our region and beyond tell me they are fighting for a living wage. Cars honking in support of United Auto Workers taking part in a practice picket across from the GM plant in Lockport. They tell me they're standing up against corporate greed.
Year after year, these corporations have made billions and billions upon billions in profit, and they refuse to share that with their workers, the very people that produce the products that make that profit.
Brian Schneck with UAW traveled from Long Island to support his fellow union members. What do they deserve to make?
What they deserve to make is a living wage. A living wage, that's what we're talking about. Right now, a top-tier worker in the UAW gets $32 an hour. That's a reasonable wage.
But he says many of the auto workers make half that. Dave Drack has worked at GM in Lockport for 23 years.
There's no economic balance. You know, everything's tighten your belt a little more and get to work on time.
If you have to go on strike, how will that impact you and your family financially?
Well, it'll be tighten the belt up a little more. And, you know, I'm running out of belt loops here, man.
Members of the union tell me if a deal isn't reached by Friday, the strike is expected to escalate across the country. These aren't just workers. These are your friends. These are people with families.
Absolutely. They're the backbone of this community. They're the people that live in these communities and patronize the businesses.
One of those businesses is just around the corner. Attitudes is a popular spot for union workers, and it's busy on this Tuesday afternoon. The topic of conversation, the economy and the strike.
You have UAW going on strike, and they have good reasons to do that. Every year, you know, the cost of living is going up.
Dennis Cassidy meets his friends here every week. And what do you guys talk about mostly?
Everything.
I asked them about a recent Siena College poll showing more than 8 in 10 voters in New York say the cost of living is a major problem. Are you also concerned about the cost of living in New York?
Oh, absolutely. The taxes are out of control.
What do you think the problem is?
Politics. No two sides can work together. The majority of politicians are out to help themselves.
And back at the picket line, union workers hope the major automakers help them by reaching a deal this week. What needs to happen?
We need to get back what we gave up during the downturn of 08, 07, 09. You know, that was a temporary give. We need help, guys. We're going bankrupt. This is what we need to stay afloat. Well, they never gave any of that back, and now they're making record profits.
This is a practice picket, but do you see this turning into the real thing?
Regrettably, it will, unless the companies get serious